So another way you can think about analysis, in addition to how do I summarize the data, is can I compare this data to a known framework or a set of quality criteria that are important in helping me make meaning of this data? So one of the most popular or common set of standards for professional learning are the professional learning standards from Learning Forward. They're a professional organization for practitioners interested in designing and providing high-quality professional development. And they have 7 professional learning standards that are roughly organized under these topic headers in the purple box on the right-hand side. And so you might ask yourself, is this STEM partnership professional development program, does it meet the characteristics of high-quality professional learning? That's a reasonable question to ask in an evaluation. So in order to decide whether it does, you need to define what is high quality in this case. And so by using standards, you can better have a set of definitions and examples that can help you make that decision. So let's walk through an example together. One of the standards for professional learning is about resources, and it is professional learning that increases educator effectiveness and results for all students requires prioritizing, monitoring, and coordinating resources for educator learning. So when we think about resources, those might be teachers' time, that might be funding, that might be other technical resources, technology, equipment. In this case of the STEM partnership, it's probably lab equipment and other science and technology equipment that the teachers use. So you might think to yourself, did schools have sufficient resources to participate in this partnership program? That might be an evaluation question that you would like to answer. So in order to study this, you might propose a descriptive study. You just want to understand and maybe catalog all of these different resources or lack of resources. So you might use the data sources of a document review of the STEM partnership activities. You might interview teachers about which resources were provided to them, and you might interview the university faculty and university faculty and the community about which resources they provided to schools as part of this partnership. And in order to analyze the data, you might use a method like cost analysis, which is trying to understand the expenses associated with this partnership. How much did it cost? Did people think it was worth the cost? You might do a thematic summary of interviews with the most common resources provided and any challenges, and then use those quotations as Katrina talked about before. So that's one way to think about using a standard or a set of criteria to help you guide your analysis. Let's walk through a similar example with a different standard. This is the standard for leadership. So the Learning Forward standard here is professional learning that increases educator effectiveness and results for all students requires skillful leaders who develop capacity, advocate, and create support systems for professional learning. So if you were involved with this program or you were evaluating this program, you might use the following evaluation question. How did school leaders support the work of the STEM partnership? So which types of data and analyses might be appropriate for this evaluation question? We're going to ask that to you in a poll. So if you look on your screen to the right-hand side, there's a poll with some different options. Choose which option you think might be an appropriate data collection and data analysis method for this particular Learning Forward standard and this question. And I'll read out the options on the poll. The first one is you could survey teachers about their overall satisfaction with the program and summarize the responses in tables. The next one is you could interview students about whether they are interested in STEM careers and select quotations to explain their most common answers. The third one is you could interview principals about how the STEM partnership fits with school goals and select quotations to explain their most common answers. And then the last one is you could survey teachers on whether they felt they had enough time, resources, and support from administration and summarize responses in tables. And you can select more than one answer here. And we're hiding your answers until we get a sense of everybody's responses, just so that you're not influenced by each other's answers. So it seems like quite a few people have selected their most popular choices. You can select more than one. And we'll go ahead and broadcast those results just so that everybody can see what are the most popular choices. So according to this data, it does seem like most people think that interviewing the principals as well as surveying teachers about resources that were provided to them and support from the administration seem to be the best way to try to gather and analyze data that's reflecting this question. It's not impossible that you could, survey teachers about their overall satisfaction and get some insight about this. So the first one, I think, is also viable. It's just more general. That first one is more about the teacher's overall satisfaction as opposed to trying to connecting it to leadership directly. And here we might be thinking about the leadership of the principal. The next one about interviewing students, that's even a little bit more indirect. It's harder to try to get at a sense of whether there was leadership support for this professional learning by interviewing students, especially if you're asking them about their careers. So that's the one that maybe isn't quite a good fit, but you never know. You could always make a case for it.